Picture this. You're on what's supposed to be a quiet date night with your partner. A lovely restaurant, candles, the works. And yet somehow it feels like their mother is sitting right there between you, giving commentary on your order, your posture, the way you hold your fork. We like to tell ourselves that relationships are just about two people, just you and them against the world. But the truth is, most relationships are crowded. Families, tradition, and expectation, all those invisible guests clambering to get a seat at the table. And while love may be blind, in-laws often have 20/20 vision. If you've ever felt like you were dating someone's entire family instead of just them, this one's for you. I'm Sam, and this is The Connection Room. At its core, tension with in-laws is about attachment and loyalty. Parents spend decades being the center of their children's universe. The first call when something goes wrong, the first hug when something goes right. Then suddenly a partner enters the picture and becomes the new center of gravity. Psychologists call this the loyalty conflict. It's not that anyone's doing something wrong, it's that the emotional map is shifting. A mother calls every day, not to intrude, but because that's how she's always shown her affection. A father weighs in on career choices because for years his opinion mattered the most. A sibling still expects the first invite to every big event, and what on the surface looks like a casual comment or a harmless bit of advice can carry an undercurrent of loss. For parents, it's the fear of being replaced. For the partner, it's the fear of not being fully accepted. And it's in this emotional tug of war between the family you come from and the family you're trying to build that there can be so much of where this friction starts.
Shoot.
What she talking about?
I'm gonna leave this door open.
She ain't learned a lesson last time. She ain't learned a lesson last. Girl, if you don't sit in the back seat like you're supposed to be and stop playing with me.
Blaze told me I was.
No, stop the argument. No,
listen.
she just got here first. Like,
No, got here first.
Mom, I love you too.
I've been here. No, I didn't get here first. I put you here. I've been here. You get it? There's a difference.
See, I'm not trying to start an argument.
She better know her place and get in the back because I'm the mom.
So here's what most couples miss. Your partner's parents aren't just people. They're the blueprint your partner learned love from. For most of human history, families didn't just visit each other. They lived together. Agrarian households, pre-industrial villages, 3 generations under one roof. Marriage wasn't just about love, it was about labor and lineage. If your in-laws were overbearing, well, they were supposed to be. They literally ran part of your household. It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution that the nuclear family became the norm. And with it came a new expectation: independence. A couple was supposed to leave and cleave to build their own world. But we're still carrying old expectations of loyalty to extended family while trying to live modern ideals of freedom and autonomy. And that's where a lot of our troubles stem from. See, the family is an ecosystem. Stress in one part ripples into the rest. Psychologists call this the family systems theory. Psychiatrist Murray Bowen views the family as a whole system where the actions of one member influences the entire system. It basically says if your partner's parents are upset, your partner feels it, so you feel it. This obviously starts to cause problems within the relationship. And culture adds another layer. In collectivist cultures, decisions ripple through the clan. In-laws expect involvement. Stress comes from too much closeness.
If I can hand over ownership unto you, Femi, your son has to be legally married.
My son?
Yes, Femi, your son. He has to be legally married, but to my daughter.
What? However, in individualistic cultures, much of the West, marriage is about autonomy. In-laws are extended and not central. Stress doesn't come from interference, but from guilt or disapproval. Why don't you call more? Or why can't we come and see the grandkids? Class can play a role too. Working class families often rely on extended kin, shared childcare and financial support, even housing. Boundaries are harder when your survival depends on family networks. However, middle class families tend to value respectable distance, but conflict can show up around etiquette, tradition, or whose plans of Easter and Christmas take precedent.
You started without me? You cut the turkey without me? Come on, we leave.
Upper class or affluent families often frame trust and stress around reputation, inheritance, or their image. It's not about who's carving the turkey at Christmas, it's more about how the conduct of your family reflects on the overall legacy of a greater family name.
Your mother's dead. Before long I'll be dead. And you. And your brother. And your sister. And all of her children. All of us dead. All of us rotting in the ground. It's the family name that lives on. It's all that lives on. Not your personal glory, not your honor, but family.
So think about this, a couple where the wife is from a stereotypically working class family that lives 5 minutes away and expects to see them multiple times a week, but the husband coming from a middle class background where the family visit on Christmas and birthdays. They're going to have wildly different blueprints of what normal family involvement looks like.
When's Raymond coming home?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I was just on my way to the market and I was... Deborah, are you cooking something?
No.
Oh, because there's an aroma. Ugh.
Neither are right or wrong, but unless they talk about it as a couple and present a unified front, it will always be a source of friction in their relationship. Let's break here and let me ask you, how often do you think couples should see their extended families? Weekly, monthly, holidays only? Drop your takes below because I'm curious to see the range. Gender also plays a big role in who carries the weight of in-law stress. And a lot of it has less to do with personality and more to do with the history and social structures. Traditionally, women have been expected to manage in-law relationships. The emotional labor falls on them, smoothing things over, hosting the dinners, remembering birthdays, keeping pace between partners and parents. When conflict arises, it's often the daughter-in-laws who get the blame. She's turning him against us. Psychologically, this pressure reflects a deeper expectation that women should be the kin keepers. Men, on the other hand, get caught in loyalty binds. The mama's boy stereotype looms large. If a man sides with his wife, he's accused of abandoning his mother. If he sides with his mother, he's accused of betraying his wife. Either way, someone's feeling replaced. See, this isn't just about fragile ego, it's about deep-rooted scripts. Many mothers have invested decades as the primary woman in their son's life. When a partner arrives, it can feel like being displaced from the center of that universe. And sometimes the pain of that manifests into criticism of the new partner.
What is that?
What?
Where's your bridesmaid's dress?
Oh, I gave it to Ruby's daughter. She works at Hooters. She was thrilled. I don't have a daughter.
And that's not because the new partner is wrong, but because she represents change and matriarchal challenge. So what can couples actually do when in-law stress is pulling the relationship at the seams? Well, the first step is simple but powerful. See yourselves as a team. Too often couples let extended families divide them. One partner running interference, the other trying to stay neutral. But neutrality is just another word for leaving your partner on the battlefield.
What did he say?
The golden rule is this: decisions are made together, even if they're communicated separately. When you stand side by side, you tell families, we are united. Once you've got that foundation, you can step into setting boundaries. Think of it like you're setting visiting hours. Tell them, we love visits, but call first. What you're really saying is, we want you in our lives, but we also need space to function as a family. And families who truly love you may push at first, but eventually they'll learn to toe the line, especially when it's presented as a unified decision. And that's where we language comes in, because there's a big difference between she don't want you to come over and we've decided that weekends are for us. One isolates your partner as the villain, the other presents a unified front. The moment families realize that they can't triangulate, that is to play one side against the other, half of the battle is won already. Unless you talk about your differences openly, every visit can feel like a violation to one person and an obligation to another. The fix isn't choosing one normal over the other, it's creating a shared definition of normal that works for your household. And if all else fails, look, there's no shame in some mediation. Sometimes the loyalties feel too tangled, the stakes and the emotions are too raw. There, a therapist, pastor, or even a trusted elder can create neutral space where both partners feel heard. Families can adjust their expectations without it turning into a constant war. Because here's the truth. In-law stress doesn't have to destroy a relationship. It will if couples try and fight it alone. The goal isn't to cut your family off. It's learning how to stay connected without being consumed. I don't want to paint in-laws as villains because that's not the full story. Extended family, for all their frustrations, can be an incredible gift. Free childcare. Yeah, I said it. For young parents, exhausted and running on fumes, a grandparent stepping in can feel like a lifeline. You can suddenly breathe. You can shower, nap, or just remember who you are outside of being mum and dad. That kind of support isn't just practical, it's emotional oxygen. And then there's cultural continuity. Families don't just give us genes, they give us stories, recipes, songs sung in our mother tongue that might otherwise be forgotten. Traditions that remind children where they come from. And in a world that moves fast and forgets easily, extended families can be our anchors to our history. Financial support is another reality. I know we don't want to talk about it, but for many couples, family is the safety net when a system fails. A brother that helps with rent if you've lost your job. An aunt co-signing a loan. Parents stepping in with that extra 10% to make sure your house bid gets accepted. That closeness can sometimes feel like pressure, but it's also what keeps some people afloat. And let's not forget emotional anchoring. Sometimes the only people who truly understand what you're going through are the ones who have walked it before. An older sibling who survived the heartbreak. A parent who knows what grief feels like. A cousin who's been your confidant since childhood. Extended family, when healthy, can make us feel less alone in an increasing world of social fragmentation, especially if they cook jollof rice. So listen, relationships don't happen in a vacuum, they happen in an ecosystem. Healthy love doesn't mean cutting families off. It means balancing loyalty to them with loyalty to your partnership. It means saying we honor where we came from, but we're also protecting this thing of ours that we're building over here. In-laws and extended families are not your enemies. With the right boundaries, they can be allies. But that only happens when couples unite, communicate clearly, and refuse to let outside pressures fracture their bond. Because at the end of the day, your marriage, your partnership, it's its own new family. And that deserves to stand strong even while your whole clan is watching. So tell me, what's one boundary you set or wish you'd set with your extended family? Drop your take below, it could be helpful to someone. And if this gave you something to reflect on, hit the like, subscribe button and share it with someone who's navigating family stress. It's free and it means you might see a whole lot more of me. I'm Sam, and until the next time, make some moves.